Hi, Destry.
So I'm
Glad to connect. Today, we're just going to be going through where you are in your drone business. I'll offer whatever insights I can. Hopefully, I can help you out a little bit, but I'd love to learn a little bit about you. Tell me about yourself and your aspiration.
well, Sarah, it's good to meet with you and finally talk to you. I've seen what you've done on social media and appreciate what you're doing there. I'm a farmer by heart. I run my own business agriculturally. I've farmed for the last 10 years. I've been a small bale hay farmer, and weather wasn't permitting me to continue to do that. And so I let that go and I went to work for my neighbor and as a custom operator. And part of that operation is we use drones to custom applicate chemicals. And so I took the job and he said, "Oh, by the way, you need to get your Part 107 and be a drone pilot." And I said, "Okay." And so kind of as an afterthought, but as it turns out, that actually turned into what I do most of the time now. And so over the last couple of years, I've run a DJI T40 and a T50, and those have been great machines, and we still run them. We've also moved up into an EA Vision J100, and we just acquired the new J150 as well. And so the gentleman I work for is a dealer for agri spray drones, and as a dealer, we go out and we sell a lot of the new toys, and we get to play with them as well.
Okay, so,
And
so you're selling drones as well as using them.
yes,
Okay,
yeah, we sell the big spray drones. As a serial entrepreneur, I'm just wanting to get out on my own, do my own thing and stuff like that. I've purchased an Autel 640T and looking at getting into some mapping, construction monitoring, agriculture monitoring, and get out and get my own drone up in the air and doing my own thing.
amazing. Yeah, so you'd said when you reached out, you've been doing this for your friend, but you want to really get established on your own. And so that's where you are right now is it sounds like you've already made some progress into going out on your own.
I have. I've got a partner that's helping me get started on my own. We've got our own business. We're Starlight Drone Services. We've bought a little mapping drone with thermal capacities, and we're moving out on our own to do our own thing.
All right, that's exciting. And what was it specifically that you were looking for, kind of help on today or areas where I could be of guidance?
I really liked what you've done about talking about the high-end construction monitoring work, the something more than just a real estate photographer. I'm looking for something that's got consistency and longevity to it. And so in your videos and stuff like that, you've talked a lot about construction monitoring, some of the inspection work with the solar panels and the towers as far as infrastructure goes, like cell phone towers, potentially windmills, power lines, and stuff like that. All of that intrigues me. With ag drones, we've done mapping and stuff like that. You go out and you map the field and monitor as it sprays, and you fill it up and replace the batteries. And I'm looking to take that and move into some of the monitoring work and stuff along those lines to strike it out on my own and run my own business.
Sure, absolutely. Well, yeah. All right. So it sounds like you've got a couple different areas you want to go in. And can you remind me what area of the US you are in?
I live in Eastern Oregon. I'm just an hour west of Boise, Idaho. And so I live right on the Oregon-Idaho border. I've been a farmer all my life. When things get a little slow, I've worked in the oil field. I've worked as a custom applicator. Like I said, a serial entrepreneur, looking for something that's consistent and ongoing. I've got two little girls at home and would like to spend a little less time at work and a little more time with them. And
Absolutely. All right. So is there a specific, let's say you were to choose one target market to start with, and what would that be for you? What would be your preferred target?
something with you mentioned a number of times that construction monitoring is pretty consistent. And so that's kind of my goal is to start into that. And as a dealer, we deal in the Autel Nest. That's a pod that you can put out on a location and program flights into it. I'd like to really work with those. So it's very easy to monitor multiple sites. I go out and I park a pod on site and then program the drone to fly certain times of the day or certain times of the week. That information's uploaded to the cloud and I go get it from there, process it, and send it on to the customer.
All right. Yeah. So it sounds like you've got it already a good handle on what that process looks like. So you're ahead of the curve there. Yeah.
Thank
Let me
you.
just kind of talk you through what my recommendations would be, and a lot of this I come at more, from how a lot of just general local business marketing principles applied to drones, right? And that's why I kind of ask about that first target audience is like, how can we develop one offer that we're really targeting, right? Because otherwise you might not attract anyone if you're trying to do everything at once. Doesn't mean you can't branch out.
Uh-huh.
But let's just start in that one spot.
Okay.
So if we're talking about those target audiences, in my experience, that could be I've seen commercial builds like the local Walmart going up, or also like luxury home builds. Kind of the bigger the price tag, the more room they're going to have in a budget and more value from that monitoring. So in your area, are there like kind of a drivable area? Are there any projects going on that you've had your eye on?
I live about an hour outside of Boise. Boise's got a lot of big stuff going on. As a farm boy, I try to stay out of the city, but I understand that's where the construction's going on, where I'm going to have to go to get it.
Okay,
And so, yeah, a lot of construction going on in the Boise area.
got it. So for your target market is Boise and the people, and then really the market you're going to be looking for are who's in charge, who makes the decisions regarding the construction of these larger projects. So the next step would be to figure that out, right? The first monitoring job I got was going to in person to like a little street of dreams
Okay.
that was under construction. And I was just taking the photos kind of just for fun. I'd actually reached out to a realtor I was going to meet at one of them, and then they no showed, but the guy across the street took interest and he was general contractor and put me in charge with the company. And then they had another bigger project, which is, I wanted to share that just because you just never know where things will evolve from, but it does take some just putting yourself out there to start with.
Right.
I think some people want to get that cash in hand before they go start. I think oftentimes you do at least a little bit of the free work, right? To get proof of concept or that you're willing to show up.
Right. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg?
Exactly. Now, there's also somebody that I've interviewed on here called Alan. He's kind of killing it on the construction monitoring. I'm happy to put you in touch with him as well.
Uh-huh.
And he is very proactive on that cold outreach. Like he'll find a project and then he just figures out who's in charge of it and reaches out to them. He has one story where it was in the newspaper, like whatever the person in charge of the new build was, and he found them, I think, on LinkedIn. And then, so again, but I think the first thing to do would be compile a list. Looking up, are there local parade of homes? Probably not this time of year, right? In November, not much going on
I
there.
do actually think there's some parade of homes going on.
Is there? Okay.
I'd have to check on that, but
So getting a little, yeah, creative on that, see what's going on. So parade of homes, compiling a list of local builders. It's been a while since I did this, but there is a strategy of, looking at permits that have been issued to just kind of get an all-in-one list of what's being undertaken right now. Could be another good resource.
I'm just taking notes here.
Sure. And I'll be able to send you the recording. It should do a summary of this call too. So
That would be fantastic.
let's use AI to make our life easier.
Amen.
And then it comes to actually getting in contact with people. What's your experience or comfort level with outreach?
I was an LDS missionary in Peru for 2 years.
Okay, so I'm guessing you have some pretty thick skin, huh?
I've got some thick skin.
Well, good.
I also
Let's put
speak
that.
Spanish, which most people wouldn't think that this big old gringo does, but I do.
Yeah, well, que bueno. Yeah.
So, no, I don't have a problem knocking doors or making cold contact and stuff like that. Just looking for some suggestions. I like the idea of the permit office and going out that way. And so,
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And then I recommend kind of a mix of outreach and putting as much of that as you can into some sort of automation, right? Because you're busy.
right,
You've got other jobs. Frankly, the wheels are going to fall off at some point if you're trying to follow up with everyone manually, especially if you're not back.
right.
So are you very active on Facebook?
I am.
Okay.
Surprisingly, Facebook is where I made my hay business work.
Okay. So perfect. I would recommend finding those construction companies, liking them, commenting on their if they have photos or social media that's active. That can be a good place to reach out initially through a message as well. It's probably not the main guy that's watching those, but they can get forwarded to the right person.
Right. Somebody's son, somebody's wife or daughter says, "Hey, Dad, look at this."
Exactly. You can also do those emails to just outreach saying, hey, this is a service I'm offering in your area. One thing I have found to be helpful getting a foot in the door, like this was with realtors as well, is to say, hey, I'm going to be doing a shoot on, or in that area or on that street on later this week. Can I swing by and do your property as well? That can be helpful because first of all, you're not specifically trying to pin them down, right? You're already going to be in
Right.
the area. And it's a little bit of social proof too, right? Like somebody's already hired you you know, and found value in you. So that can be helpful. So sending out those emails to whoever and just say, hey, I'd like to do a demo of a construction progression. Is that something you're familiar with? And from what I've seen, there are varying levels of awareness. Some people have their own drone person with their Part 107, and some people really haven't seen it in action, even in this day and age. So, you might not they might not see that true value. So having part of those follow-ups be communicating value, other examples of people that are doing it in your area. So with those follow-ups, you're not always doing an ask, right? You're not always like, hey, book me, hey, pay me, hey, buy this thing I'm selling, but rather show them
Uh-huh.
the value in other more subtle ways like value, value, ask type thing. Have you used ChatGPT much?
Not so much.
Okay.
The little bit of interaction I've had with it, it hasn't been quite so productive, and so
Okay.
it's not a tool that I've utilized very much.
That can be something really. What you can do is go into Chat GPT and here, like if you can see my screen too well. Okay, do you see Google?
I do.
Okay, so we can go in here and say, I am prospecting to construction project supervisor. I want a 5-part email series, introduces myself. There's call to action of a demo progression shot. And I'll send you that. Just made. Now we let it think. How old are your girls?
I've got a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Oh, fun. They're little.
Oh, they're 20 months apart, and
Oh,
so they're an absolute hoot.
yeah. My baby turned 7 on Thursday, so he's not squishy at all anymore.
No, but they're still fun at that
Oh,
age.
he's great. Yeah, he's the baby of the family. So
Oh,
okay.
fun.
So ChatGPT called you a nerd. Sorry. It says, let's turn you from their favorite helpful nerd with a drone instead of just another vendor. All right, it's my
Mm,
ChatGPT. It insults me every so often.
that's all right.
I
Call me
have a
anything you want, just don't call me late for dinner.
That's right. Okay, so here's a 5 email sequence built around give, ask with the main call to action of let me shoot a free demo progression for your site. And
Uh-huh.
so, frankly, I think some of these are a little windy, especially for the initial one, but it gives you a really good place to start and tailor it to your voice.
Oh,
You know, I'll send you this as that. What's nice is it really saves you a lot of that hard work and can give, as I said, give you a great foundation to start.
okay.
Okay, let's see what we want to talk about next. Now, do you have a software that you use to manage your leads?
I've used Pix 4D once or twice and kind of thought about using that as the software to process the pictures. As far as processing the leads, I don't have one.
Okay.
In some of your pictures, you've mentioned you endorse Go High Level, and was going to look further into that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it can be simple as a Google Sheet. I used to use something called Pipe Pipe Drive, I think, where you for lead management. What I
Uh-huh.
like about Go High Level is, assuming you want to have a web presence, you can also schedule all your socials through there. You can do your invoicing through there. You can have conversations like text messages, as
Uh-huh.
well as the lead management and set up those automation. There are
Okay.
other softwares out there. This is kind of an all-in-one for 97 a month. Gives you a lot of bang for your buck. I think with
Uh-huh.
Drive, it was like it by itself, it was $50 a month or something. If you want, I can give you a demo on my account and let you check it out. No pressure at all, of course. Like just to let you see what it's like and see if it would make sense for you.
Uh-huh.
And you can get pretty complex on there, but you can also keep it really simple.
Okay.
You said you have a website, right?
I don't even have a website yet.
Okay.
That's how new and fresh we are at this.
Okay. So yeah, and through Go High Level, you can also build a website easily and have it hosted. And so that may be of benefit to you. And I'd be happy to help you get a site up. Okay. So how about your Google business profile? Have you claimed that?
I haven't done that one either.
Okay. Yes, we have some work to do, Destry. Yes. Yeah.
Brand spanking new at this.
Yes. And that's great to know because we do want that foundation in place. Like it doesn't, nothing needs to be perfect and optimized, but you do want to look out there enough that, if you start this outreach and people are Googling you, they find you and, can see
Hmm.
legitimate. So really
Right.
recommend that for getting established. Maybe you could put your partner in charge of that. What
Yeah, that's a discussion I could have on that.
Yeah. And yeah, so I think getting that foundation would be really helpful. And then that's fun too. Like we're talking about doing a lot of prospecting, and that's where you start, obviously. But it is nice
Hmm.
when every so often the phone rings and it's someone who just wants you to do a job and calls you asking to pay you money and you're like, sure, I'd be happy to.
I'm on that.
Yes. So, but right now, if somebody were looking for what you're trying to offer, they wouldn't even be able to find you.
Right.
Yeah. So we want to know where those people are that want to pay you money and have them be able to find you. One thing that gets in the way of a lot of people, I think, getting started is being afraid or unsure about the deliverables. That's something that you've given much thought to. It seems like you're already familiar with the drone and the software.
That's another question I was going to go over with, what are the details of the deliverables that I need for an inspection or an inspection, construction inspection and monitoring.
Sure. And depending on the size of the project, it can be a certain just different number of those shoots or the shots. I would probably have 2 or 3 different package sizes delineating how many shots, like 10, 20, 30, depending
Uh-huh.
on size. I'd be interested to see how Alan's doing that lately too. I think he would have some good insights. Because this doesn't need, and some people want the raw data, and some people are going to want you to actually polish it a little bit, but at least having some sort of baseline deliverable that makes sense for you is
Hold on just a second.
sure.
No, not for me.
Okay. So I'd encourage you to maybe do some research, see what other, if there are other construction, progression, drone businesses in your area, what they're offering, see what, kind of packages are and where you can position yourself.
Oh,
Have you done much of like competitive research?
I've Googled drone services. There's three of them here in the valley.
Okay.
And so a couple of them are branches from out of state.
All right. So that's good. It shows there's proof of concept and it gives you a good place to start. So, and you can even plug those sites into ChatGPT and say, hey, compare these. Give me, are there any places where I could have an advantage? What do you suggest for my positioning, etc.
Okay.
All right. So we've talked about where you're going to be looking for your prospects, how you're going to be reaching out to them. The cold calling is also helpful, at least to follow up. And that's where if you have your follow up system, it can kind of prompt you as you're working your leads into, I emailed this guy yesterday, so I'll call him next week type of thing. Really, the biggest thing is to build a system around it, because if you sit down and just call when you feel like it, if you're like me, you'll never feel like it. So I'm sure you
I
can.
just talked to that guy a day or two or a week ago.
Right, last year, and felt like, yeah. So creating a system around that can be really valuable. I think really doing some research around what your competitors are doing and where you want to position yourself as far as the deliverables that make sense with your skills in drone, as well as kind of what interests you. You want to be doing something that you don't hate, and then doing a practice run. Even if it is somebody that has no interest in you in your service, finding a site and doing the progression and practicing what that report would look like so that you have confidence when you go into it, that you're not just trying to, build the deliverable as you go.
Okay.
Yeah. I learned that when the first time I tried to do it, like a fly through of a property, and I was like, I don't know, trying to figure out what shots you need. And, that's very stressful. So let's do the practice run first.
Gotcha.
We talked about that regular follow-up. We talked about your local presence of getting a website established and Google Business Profile, and then kind of you'll be wanting to get reviews. That's going to be a really important thing, not only for keeping Google and its algorithm happy, but that social proof, right? We want when somebody does Google you because you've reached out, that they see that people are saying stellar things about you.
Gotcha.
And I wouldn't be afraid to ask your mom and friends for reviews either. Okay. It's like, it's all fair here.
I've got a big family. I've got many people I'll reach out to give me fair reviews.
Perfect. Yes, they know you. They can vouch for you. Yeah. So I mean, that gives you a really good place to start. I think a concrete list, an outreach plan of at least 5 touches, a run through of your deliverables, your solid online presence doesn't need to be perfect, but needs to be something, and knowing your pricing and packaging.
Okay.
And I mean, that was a lot I threw at you.
Yeah, getting it written down here. Okay.
Is there anything we didn't touch on that would be helpful to go over today?
No, we could, like you said, if you could help me a little bit with the website and Google my business and stuff like that, I'll put some pricing and packages together and
Perfect.
stuff like that. And I can start reaching out to people and putting things together.
Yeah, absolutely. After the call, I'll send you some information. We can find a time to get together. I can show you the ropes on those things. And yeah, I'm really glad to connect. I think you're really well positioned to take advantages of your skills and experience and get out there and make it happen.
Well, I appreciate it. I look forward to working on it and working with you about this. So
Yeah,
appreciate
absolutely.
your time and your input.
It's been a pleasure. All right. Well, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
You too. Thanks for your time. We'll connect later.